Hello, my fellow MCs, Primo here, and I know we all struggle with the fact that we just don't think our accounts are good enough. I mean, we just can't help but compare ourselves and our progress to other accounts, and it really just makes us think, what is holding my account back, and what can I do to make it better? Today, we are talking about the 5 ways you can optimize your account in Honkai Star Rail. So let's sit back, grind some Stellar Jades, and let's talk about it.
Cloud Kites, formation! Bolt! From the boat!
Planning out your next 5-star character or light cone can be very rewarding and relieving, especially for F2P players who have very limited Stellar Jade to spend. The reason why planning out your next 5-star target in advance is optimal is that it helps gather your thoughts and helps set your account in a specific direction. Another reason why I myself love planning out my targets is that it helps me identify supporting units that I believe will bring the best synergy in terms of combat and kit utility. Because of all the planning that goes into figuring out which target you want and when their banner will eventually run, it can also help with your calculations towards your daily Jade accumulation. Say, for example, I have 35 wishes, I'm on a 50-50, and I'm looking to pull Kafka in version 1.2, phase 2 banner. I know that to at least have a chance at Kafka, I'll need about 40 to 55 wishes, calculating out my total Jades needed, which is about 6,400 to 8,800 respectively. You can break down your potential Stellar Jades based on all the remaining activities you can do. The easiest ways you can obtain Stellar Jades are through Trailblaze, Companion, and World missions. Interactive overworld items like chests, compasses, and hidden side quests like Psycran's mission are all easy ways to stack small bunches of Jade, but plenty of them. You also can't forget about all the weekly and bi-monthly rewards like Simulated Universe and Memory of Chaos. And of course, who doesn't love the monthly Ember Shop reset or the Starlight exchange tickets that you can obtain if you have enough of that specific currency? Just having all your options in front of you and calculating out if it is even realistic to try and go for your target, in this case Kafka, will help bring you peace of mind. Even if you are having to grind like crazy and rush through content, or if you decide to just relax and casually grind for a different target down the road, there won't be any uncertainty for yourself. Therefore, you can make the best decision for your account knowing you put some careful consideration into all your options.
Cloud Kites, formation! Bolt! From the boat!
You've waited weeks and your patience has finally paid off. Blade has come home and you're ecstatic and ready to use him immediately to help with those pesky enemies and Memory of Chaos. You go to upgrade him and, well, you can't. His Ascension materials are locked behind the version 1.2 story. Okay, no worries. I'll go through the story and unlock the domain. But, well, now I don't have any Trailblaze power. Now I have to wait for my daily reset. It can be frustrating as a player to have all this excitement built up for a character only for it to be diminished by the fact you have to wait a couple days to accumulate enough Trailblaze power to upgrade them. This is why I recommend to always have a stash of around 8 to 10 fuels to be able to grind out those Ascension materials on day 1. Now this point isn't as relevant for characters whose materials aren't story locked behind patch updates. For those characters, you can take the time to pre-farm their materials. But in this instance with Blade, this is the first time players have to experience the potential waiting game of building up a new character because of the limitation of Trailblaze power. On the off chance you don't have 8 to 10 fuels laying around to be able to use on day 1, an easier target may be 3 to 4, as this will help you gain enough Ascension resources to get up to level 70. That's a high enough level to be able to clear most endgame content depending on your relics. Of course, you'll eventually be able to level him up all the way to 80, and it won't take more than a couple days to do so. But this is all about optimizing your account. And with those couple extra days of you waiting around for more Trailblaze power, your friends are out there playing with their new 5-star character. So try your best to stay on top of new character releases with at least a couple fuel in hand to help with the material grinding on day 1. I've been in this situation myself quite a few times in Genshin Impact with the release of all the Sumeru characters. I found myself constantly yearning for more fuel and resin to be able to upgrade my characters, but I couldn't. Don't make the same mistake I did and just be prepared.
Cloud Kites, formation! Bolt! From the boat!
This goes along with my previous points of being prepared and giving your account a specific direction. The reason why you will want to pre-farm trace materials for your upcoming target characters is so you can immediately slot them into a team and they won't be holding back your account. Imagine how annoying it is to finally get the character you want only for them to be lackluster because their traces are at level 2 and 3 while you really need them to be at least 8. Now, it truly is a commitment to grind out trace materials a week or two before a character's release, and I totally understand that as I have done it for my Jingyuan, Locha, and Blade. You can even say it holds back your account a bit because you have to stop progressing your current teams, whether through their own traces or relics, just to gather materials for a character that isn't on your account yet. But when I think of pre-farming trace materials, I'm looking at the bigger picture. Yes, in the short term, I will lose out on some overall progression, but I'm going to have optimal fun once the character I've been grinding for gets released, as I can fully enjoy them on day one and not have to wait around. There is an instance, however, where you would want to hold off on pre-farming, and that is if you are very close to the next equilibrium level. Having your account go up to the next EQ level provides about a 12% increase in trace material drops depending on your RNG. That is quite a substantial increase, so if you're able to hold off for a day or two to get up to the next EQ level, I would highly recommend that, as it will greatly increase your efficiency. Another thing to acknowledge for trace materials is that not only is it important for your general skill, talent, and ultimate, it will also help out with your bonus abilities for said character, as well as the specific light cone you plan on utilizing. Even though you don't need as many trace materials to ascend your light cone, having it available is very useful to keep your light cone level in line with your character and traces.
Cloud Kite's formation! Bolt from the boost!
This may be the most important thing on this list when it comes to optimization, only because of the value it holds for your account. The reason why this is because it is the only way you can farm these materials without having to spend Trailblaze power. Usually, the only way you can obtain credits in EXP books is through missions, events, golden calyxes, and the use of your support unit, which are all limited in some capacity, whether it's through a single completion reward or the use of daily Trailblaze power. Another thing to note is that enemy drops that you can use your assignments on are completely farmable. You just have to put in a lot more time and work in comparison to just sending units on an assignment. On top of that, the drops you get from overworld enemies are based on your EQ level, which means you can get higher value and an increased number of drops if you were to compare it to that of daily assignments. When you also look at the general uses for each, credits and EXP books are used across all of your characters, while enemy drops are only used for specific characters. Efficiency-wise, it just makes sense to prioritize your daily assignments on credits and EXP books than enemy drops, even if you weren't considering the fact that you would normally have to use Trailblaze power to acquire these items.
Cloud Kite's formation! Bolt from the boost!
I know we all love those 4-piece set bonuses that give us some pretty nice benefits, depending on the character. But there are going to be times where the difference between a 4-piece set and a 2-piece set is just so minimal that it isn't worth the hassle. Grinding for the final 2 relics to make a 4-piece set is just not an optimal use of your time. When making a decision on whether you want to go for the 4-piece set, you really have to dive into the substats of the 2-piece set you are replacing to see if your DPS or support capabilities would suffer. For DPS units, if you have a relic with the correct main stat and double crit, it would be very difficult to pass up on that piece, even if it isn't a part of the 4-piece set you want. For support units, if you don't have a crit focus unit, but one that needs HP, effect res, speed, or anything else like that, you could also say the same thing. An example of a 4-piece set that I myself wouldn't want to grind for is the 4-piece lightning set. Going with a 2-piece lightning, 2-piece musketeer leaves me with an attack percent decrease of 8%, which in all honesty is worth it, as I can passively farm for musketeer pieces through my weekly Echo of War runs. To a certain degree, this can apply to the 2-piece sets from the simulated universe, but I would highly suggest always having a 2-piece set as long as you have the right main stats. The set bonuses for these relics are much more substantial in comparison to the 4-piece sets, with some of them having a focus on damage percent, crit rate, and crit damage. Taking the time to evaluate your relics to see if it is really worth an upgrade is the optimal way to ensure your character is getting the best performance. Now, I'm not saying you need to completely disregard the set bonuses, but you should be looking at the opportunity cost when it comes down to deciding whether or not you want to farm the full 4-piece set or settle on a 2-piece variety.
Cloud Kite's formation! Bolt from the boost!
And with that, this will end our video on the 5 things you can do to optimize your Honkai Star Rail account. Now, I hope the things I mentioned in the video today gave you some reassurance if you are currently doing those things, and if you're not, hopefully it can be implemented in the future to help optimize your account further. But if you like the content, please like and subscribe, comment down below any other account optimizations you have personally been using to help yourself on your Honkai Star Rail journey. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.